As the Chinese economy finds itself increasingly in contact with market forces, it's finding new challenges. Among the headline tasks, establishing an international trade position and restructuring industry to build value added. These were core topics for a group of top economists gathering recently in Shanghai. Li Zhuangmiao caught up with their ideas on China's transitional economy.
The economists attending the Fudan University conference pointed out that China is facing greater pressure on its export sector, especially from large economic powers such as the United States and the European Union. However, expert opinions differ on suitable trade regimes.
The famous economist called Paul Samuelson. Paul Samuelson is basically the father of modern economics. He is the one who made the argument that free trade is good for everybody. 2 years ago, he published a paper in which he said, free trade is not always good. In fact, free trade now is good for China and India, but bad for the United States.
China has maintained 13 consecutive months of strong export growth with a monthly growth rate above 30%. Economists say as China faces hurdles on the export front, the country should take a more active leadership role in keeping the world open for international trade under the WTO framework.
China should get the rest of East Asia to form a trade bloc that is open. The argument is, if the Americans keep their market open, East Asia will keep its market open to American goods. So basically, you have to have something to trade with the Americans and the Europeans. East Asia is a big, powerful market.
Economists also admit China's strong trade surplus, though contributing an important 3 to 4% to GDP, may not be healthy for the long-term growth of the economy. They cite the problem of inadequate private consumption, which accounts for less than 50% of GDP and is one of the lowest in the world. Encouraging urbanization, which allows more farmers to become urban residents, is one of the solutions. But there's a lot more to do.
Currently, farmers are swarming to cities to become migrant workers, but basically they remain to be rural residents. So their mentality, their consumption pattern, their income, the income earning abilities are all of that of farmers. So politically, how to grant farmers the equal rights as urban residents in migrating to, in switching jobs, right, in choosing places of residence, and in having their kids enroll in schools. Economically, the problem also involves the land policy. How to properly compensate farmers for losing agricultural land, for losing their agricultural income.
China's economic transition is not just about structural change, but also industrial reform. With less central planning, but more influence from foreign and private capital, the government essentially has to map out mechanisms to maintain social stability.
Some people are going to lose their job, and they need to be compensated, financially. So you have to develop the social security network, pension funds, something like that. But, we know that China, actually began this reforms from the scratch, because there is no foundation for the social security, because we inherited the social security from the past, which is endogenized into the state sector themselves. So in that case, you have to begin the new foundation for this social security network to make this transition, more successful or more smooth.
Economists say besides carrying out independent studies, China can also learn from successful examples from other countries. But the government needs to test and balance different opinions to adapt to China's own situation. Experts say China's economic transition will inevitably mean years of trials. Li Zhuangmiao for BizWatch.